is NDTV and you are watching NDTV Prime.
Now, we've had him on our show before, we've had him on the channel before, but every time is still just as special. And of course, you know exactly why when I tell you who I'm talking about. It's Sachin Tendulkar, and always is wonderful to see you.
Thank you so very much. Wonderful to be here.
No, I know, it's just something I always look forward to. So I appreciate your time today. And you know, we are here for a good reason, the launch of the new 5 Series. So I'll jump straight into it because I know, of course, while we've met you at other car launches before, there's something about the 5 Series that becomes a little special for you, isn't it?
It is. I mean, right from me giving a car to my wife, I gave a 5 Series because I asked her which is a car that you'd love to drive. She likes driving. Earlier she was driving 3. And she said, I've driven your 5 Series and I really like it. So I said, would you want one? She said yes, and now she's driving 5 Series and she's extremely happy with it and loves the car.
In fact, I remember having that conversation with her while she still had the 3, and she was contemplating this, should I not, and then of course I met her after that when she had the car, and I know she's a big fan of the 5 Series as well. The fact that this is also a brand that we've spoken about this with you before. I mean, I know I've chatted with you about this, where it's got this sort of special place in your heart. You've had an association now, okay, for a few years with the brand itself, but it predates that, the love for the brand. And it's interesting how it's like that for your family too.
It is. It's a coincidence, but my first BMW was way back in 1993, and then from there on, I've owned a number of different models, and the best part is BMW themselves. They want to come and change my cars. I'm like, okay, what have you introduced now? And it just keeps coming to me like, there is no tomorrow, literally. I mean, my wife keeps telling me that, at least drive this car before you change it. Yeah. And they are upgrading models and they're all fabulous. Just continue getting better and better with the latest technology. I think, you talk about gesture control and now wireless phone chargers and all those kinds. They're keeping up with today's generation, where kids love all these things. In fact, just now I was driving the new 5 Series in London, and gesture control is something which my son also figured out, that this is something, if I don't like the song, all I need to do is this, and my father's song is going to get forwarded, and then his song comes, because we take it in turns, and there are occasions where we are allowed to take it in turns. But that is what it does.
I have to tell you a funny incident. The first time I saw gesture control was on the last 7 Series, on the 7 Series when it came out, not the last one, the new one. And we were filming. I forget where we were driving, somewhere in Europe, and we were filming, or we were in the US, outside New York. And I was standing there, and the camera person was taking the shot and was doing all of that. And there was this guy who came and stopped his car, and he was just looking at me like I was completely nuts, because I was doing all these things. But you're right, that is the future. It's stuff like that. Does it excite your kids, seeing things like that in the cars?
It does, because that is today's generation. They want to see all those things. Yeah. I remember playing with those toy cars, those dinky cars on the remote. And you are doing that with the proper big size cars. You're parking your car. I'm going to get hold of a couple of my friends who believe that they are good drivers. When it comes to parking, they struggle a bit. So, won't be a bad car to buy.
Yeah, especially here in Mumbai, yes. I know that. It's a nice trick to have. The time you have spent with the new car, you mentioned in London, from a driver's perspective, how do you like it?
I think from a driver's perspective, first of all, when you look at the car, it's dynamic. I mean, it's the muscularity, the lines, the agility. Once you get in the agility, the handling, I think it's just fabulous. It keeps getting better and better, and then I wonder what's in store for us, because you know how much can you stretch a rubber band, but they continue to do so, and convincingly and consistently.
Especially with the diesel engines. I mean, I remember we chatted about this as well before, where you know, just the level of refinement you get, and also the torque. Which is the car that you've been...
The torque, and you see, I told them jokingly that, you know, you've made this car work really hard in the gym.
Yeah.
It's lost
Lighter.
70 kilos. 70 kilos is one passenger less. And when it comes to performance, we are discussing about, you know, if I change the exhaust, put a carbon exhaust, lighter exhaust, which is maybe 5 or 10 kilos lighter or whatever. And here we are talking about 70 kilos. So it's a huge difference, and that has added advantage for any car enthusiast. You want to get off the line as quickly as possible. 70 kilos less.
And what's amazing is that these cars also get safer. I mean, when they get lighter, they get
I know.
better on performance, but they also get safer. They get more rigid.
That's really important. I think for anyone, before you think of buying a car, safety should be one factor which should be right up there, and then comes the rest of the things. To me, if you don't feel safe enough, I wouldn't go ahead with that car.
In fact, that can't be said enough in the Indian context, isn't it? Given the kind of crazy numbers we have of accidents and of course deaths on the road. Why is it, do you think, that people don't take it seriously? I mean, you know, they're worried about all these other things. You know, they want sunroofs and they want fancy music systems.
I think, and you know, braking signals and all that, I think that should not happen. Also, not wearing helmets.
Yeah, or seat belts.
That's critical. That's critical. You know, I keep telling. In fact, one of the IPL matches, we were traveling and I spotted a couple of guys without helmet, and I said,
I was going to ask you about that video.
Why are you doing this? I mean, it's such a simple thing to do. And well, they promised me that they'll wear helmets, both of them. I feel it's not just the rider, but the passenger also has to wear.
Yeah.
Because if they fall, they both go down together. So it's important even for the passenger to wear helmet.
In fact, that's the thing. I mean, in India, you know, people do it sometimes out of the fear of law rather than a thought to your own safety.
There is somebody they forget that there is a family waiting for them at home. So, you know, this attitude of, you know, idhar hi jana hai yaar, sirf 50 meter hi jana hai. But in that 50 meter, things can go wrong.
No, but I'm very happy to hear you saying that, because it's been almost like an obsession or a preoccupation for me and for all of us. We always keep endorsing, you know, wear your belts, wear your helmets.
Yeah.
Because it can't be said enough.
100%. That's important.
But are you glad to know that now at least we're getting the new safety regulations? Like for cars, you know, you're going to soon have crash testing that's going to become mandatory. You're going to have certain requirement for airbags, etc. It all kicks in from October this year. So finally, you know, after years of being very archaic with our regulations, sort of catching up with the world on that. Good thing, obviously.
I'm happy about it, and I think it is important for us to follow those guidelines. We are talking about saving lives, and safety is paramount. When it comes to selecting a car or a bike or whatever it is, you know, we need to look at our safety first and make sure that, you know, we don't hurt ourselves. You know, I think that is really important, because sometimes you take things for granted and, you know, casually do something and, you know, pay a heavy price for that.